What's up everyone? AJ on Day Trader Boom or Bust here with today's recap. I hope you've had a great trading day so far and finish your day off strong. I am red today and I'm feeling great though. Why am I feeling great? I stuck to all my rules today. When I look back, and we'll do that together on all my trades, there's not a trade that I took today that I wouldn't take again. You know, the only challenge I had, as you saw in the title, was that I feel I was in the wrong stocks. So let's talk about that. Here's the watch list for today. I post this every morning between 9 and 9:15 a.m. on my Twitter. If you want to make sure to catch that, go ahead and give me a follow at AJ Tabayan. So I had Lucid and DKNG both as continuation plays. They had pretty huge moves yesterday. And I had Workhorse, which got some news in the pre-market that had it moving. And then on the secondary, I had Nvidia and AAPL, both based off of what I saw on their daily charts. And then I had Uber, Disney, and LVS all as continuation plays. So as you can see here, I only took 5 trades today. If you remember from yesterday, because I broke some rules, I changed the max number of trades that I could take for the remaining days of the week from 6 to 5, because I took 3 extra trades yesterday than I should have, and that was my, I guess, quote-unquote punishment. And I stuck to it today. I feel really good about that. And I feel good about it also because I didn't have the urge to break the rule. So, take that for what it is. I'm hoping that that's progress for myself. Only time will tell, but I feel really good about that. I definitely fell short on the win rate percentage, but you know what? As I mentioned in the intro, it's not because of I don't feel it was because of the trades or the positions that I took. I took the ones that I wanted, and just sometimes the market doesn't cooperate with you. So let's talk about that, and then let's talk about the other thing I mentioned, which is that, I feel I was trading the wrong stocks. I was in the wrong tickers because, I truly feel, or I learned early on in the game, that you are what you trade, and you can take great trades and not get the results you want, and they would have worked had you been trading the right tickers. So, okay, DKNG. These were my early, I guess the early morning or early open plays. Again, as I've talked about now for a few days, I didn't want to rush into anything. You can see that I didn't take a trade till about the 4th minute. But DKNG had this. I was pretty bearish on DKNG to start off with. And you'll see that as all 3 of these trades were attempts at shorts. So, this was the original opening range breakout. You can see the second candle broke through that, but it wicked off the bottom. So, and then it pushed back up. So I waited. I wasn't sure what it was going to do at this point, but because I felt it was a little weak, that if it broke below this level here, I was going to take go short. And I did. I entered short. Unfortunately, as DKNG does sometimes, it came right back on me and stopped me out. So that was unfortunate, but I continued to watch it. And you can see that it threw this big red candle after stopping me out. I didn't enter on that candle. I waited again. This is probably the level I was looking at, which is the bottom of the wick of the second candle here. And although this entry was a little bit early, when it pushed down below this candle here, I went short. And it did initially move in my direction, but unfortunately, as you can see, it came all the way back up. Not just stopped me out, but it came all the way back up to opening price. So at this point, I was like, well, DKNG appears to be one of those stocks that is going to most likely consolidate for at least a good portion of the morning. So at that point I decided, you know what, I'm gonna leave it alone. I did come back to it, and you can see it, it pushed up, then pushed down, and it consolidated in this area right over here. But when it failed to, when it made a bit of a lower high here than this high here, I thought, okay, you know what, maybe it's starting to pick a direction. And again, I was already bearish on it through this upside down hammer. And if it broke below all these levels and broke below this pre-market low here, which is this dashed line, I was going to go short. And I did. It did go in my direction, but there was just no continuation. I mean, if you took a bit of a further step back, I guess you could say that this is, it was having higher lows. So maybe it was creating a bit of a pennant. And, but which I noticed after the fact, ultimately ended up stopping me out. So those were my three losing trades on DKNG, which again was unfortunate. But again, I don't feel bad about any of those trades. Now let's talk about, although I was doing this on DKNG and I was completely happy with these opening range breakouts, had I been looking at other stocks. So here was CCL, which was not even on my watch list. This is an opening range break. You can see here, this is the bottom of the initial candle. This is the top of the first 1 minute candle. But I probably wouldn't have taken that because right now I want to wait for things to develop. Well, look, it did develop. It consolidated in this area. But had I taken a 1 minute opening range break here, it never came back to test this. It just kept moving up. Even if you let's zoom out here, and so there it is. Let's see. So this is where it just kept going up. Now it did consolidate, found a level over here, but that's besides the point. Had I waited after this consolidation and took it at the break of this level, well, look, it would have been very easy for me to hit my profit target. And it wasn't just that. Obviously, travel sector seemed to be moving. This was BA, and this was it wasn't on my actual watch list, but I actually had it on the chart to the side because on the daily it looked interesting. Now I didn't expect it to be long, to be honest with you. BA on the daily, I thought if it broke down below a level, it could actually be a short. But because the market seems to be bouncing back, BA seemed to be trading with the market. But the point is, like you can see, this is the first, the 1 minute opening range. Here's the top of that candle. It never looked back. It never would have even tested. It just kept going. Even if I waited for some type of, ABCD, so to speak. It wicked off of R6 over here, came back. It didn't quite come back. So I really don't know if I would have taken this, but it didn't come back to the 20 EMA, which is what I would have waited for. But it was a great continuation play. Maybe I would have looked at the bounce here off of R5, and what can I say? That would have been awesome. So I guess the point is the strategies I was playing, which is why I'm not disappointed with the trades that I took. The strategies, in my mind, they work. But I just, I was trading something that was, that ended up being pretty choppy, and that was DKNG. Okay, so that's DKNG. Let's talk about Uber. That's the other ticker that I traded. Let's jump over the 5 minute chart so we can get a bit of a wider view of what's going on. So this is Uber, and you can see it pushed up as a continuation from yesterday's huge move. But obviously it pulled back and it came all the way back to pre-market high. So, I started to notice it when it came back up. I bounced off pre-market high, and it failed to hold above VWAP. So it started to set, a range over here. And I felt pretty bearish on Uber, especially after this big push up and then there's such a huge pullback. I thought that there was a good chance that this could be even a bit of a reversal. So I was watching it, and when it came back here, seemed to be consolidating again here at pre-market high. When it pushed back, in this consolidation, when it pushed below pre-market high, I went short, and thinking that was the time. Because let me just back up here, and let's pull a line here. This was for me a bit of a descending kind of triangle, and I was playing a bit of the breakout. So obviously this was maybe a little bit premature, but I was definitely bearish on it, and I thought it was going to I thought it was ready to go. Unfortunately it wasn't, and it came back on me. Fortunately, I took a 0.5R loss because my original stop loss was the top of this candle, or above the 20 EMA there, and once it already had gone in my direction, I had moved my stop loss to just above the pre-market high, because I felt, because this is the breakout, and I think there's something to be said here. This is a breakout play, and because it is a breakout, once it's moved in my direction, I get pretty aggressive with moving my stop loss, because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see a breakout come back and test certain levels, my entry, or maybe certain levels between that and my stop loss. Okay, so that one didn't work. I continued to watch it, and let's zoom in here, and you can see that it never came back to test VWAP, and it threw these three candles here through these top wicks. I was watching it there, but I wasn't completely sold. So you can see it pushed up, but again failed to even test VWAP, and it threw this engulfing candle. So it pushed down. I was watching it here. I considered maybe an entry here, but it was already above the moving averages. And another benefit of having the limited number of trades is that I wanted to be relatively certain of my entry, which is, it sounds funny to say that, because I think that great trading is being certain on every trade, which is something I guess I'm gonna have to learn instead of taking marginal trades. In any case, I wanted to see it get back down to this level here, or around the pre-market high right there. So you can see, look, it bounced right off this level, but it failed to continue above this 20 EMA. So I was definitely watching this, and I felt there was also a bunch of inventory here at 45, and also at 45.25, which is around here, or a little bit higher, but anyways, I went short at the break of pre-market high with a stop loss that was just above the 20 SMA, and you can see that it never came back to test my stop loss. I actually, once it moved in my direction, I moved my stop loss, and I followed the 20 SMA down, because I felt that on this breakout, if it once again tested the 20, I keep calling it SMA, the 20 EMA here on the 5-minute, if it came back and tested that, because it already tested it and broke it here, that I wasn't going to want to be in this, because really it just was probably just going to continue to consolidate. And there was also very low volume. This is the only thing that I was concerned about, is that you can see this is decreasing volume, but I also attributed that to the fact that there's an FOMC meeting, and the Fed chair Jay Powell was going to speak. So every time that happens, there's generally low volume in the market until he speaks, and he's supposed to speak. The FOMC meeting, I think, is at 2 p.m. and he speaks at 2:30. So I was keenly aware of that, which is why I was relatively okay with the lower volume, It was trading on higher than average volume for the day, but with the low volume, it made my play a little bit dicier, but I was playing the pattern here in the breakout. So, which I guess, now as I say it, sounds kind of contradictory, breakout on low volume, but, I saw the inventory here and I thought that it was going to go ahead and grab these shares down here. So anyways, bottom line is it did go in my direction. If I was being conservative, I probably would have waited for the break of this level here. But I felt it wasn't, I probably would have had an easier time hitting my target. I just felt that if it was going to sell off from, at this level, it was going to sell off from the pre-market high also. And it did. So it did consolidate a little bit over here, but then it just pushed down. This was actually my 2-hour profit target here. Because of the whole consolidation in the area, I felt that it could run a little bit. And like I said, the big inventory was here at 45. So I only took a 50% partial there. And after taking that partial, I moved my stop loss to break even. And I set my all out at 45.01, just above where all the inventory was here at 45. And you can see it immediately pushed down, hit my profit there for, I think on this one, I took 2.3R, which is great. And you can see it's still continuing to go. But I'm very happy. That was my trade plan. I stuck with it. It worked. And that salvaged my day to a certain extent, because at that point, before this trade, I think I was probably about 3.6, 3.7 R in the red. But again, I'm not focusing on P&L this week. I'm focusing on sticking to the rules that I set at the beginning of the week. And ultimately, that's why I'm extremely happy despite being red today. So with all that said, this is the closing P&L. You can see these were the losses I took on DKNG. This was the win on Uber. I know it's a 2R on here, but that was because it was already red about 0.5R from that initial Uber trade. All told, I'm red 0.8R for the day, and I feel really good about today. We have 2 trading days left. I have 5 trades each day, and as long as I'm, in the right stocks, I'm, putting the effort into that watch list and putting myself in the position to take positions in stocks that are going to move or that are friendly, so to speak, to my trade book, I know that I can really pull out, some great results. So that's it. That's all. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that. Until tomorrow's recap, this is AJ on Day Trader Boom or Bust, signing out. Cheers.